last night's action. Let's talk about our 3 front runners right now. In the average, we got another one that's got a bull on a second round. We'll talk about that later. But so far, 79 points. Damian Wood from Belen, New Mexico. The 16-year-old comes in here. He's the reigning defending champ from last month. Rides a bull tonight to show he's the real deal and sitting in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, and, we talked about this last night. Damian's been coming here, for about a good 4 or 5 months now. And last month, he found his stride. He rode 2 bulls last month, won the event, and then he came back last night, made another ride. And, when it comes to a 2-head average, they ride both their bulls here in the average. It's all about, getting some scores on the board. He kind of fumbled a little bit at the end with that bull, but that's all right. He did the most important thing. He kept his hand shut and he tried hard and he put some points on the board. So that's put him in a good spot for the average now.
And there's a lot of money here, folks. There's $10,000 added for the riders to win. So they can win upwards of $4,000 on 16 seconds of work. So in the 2nd spot is the world champ, the man that's defying time right now. 47 years young, Ed Knight Caminas was 83 points last night. Getting it done on a bull that's hard to twist.
Yeah, and, he had Undertaker last night, and what a good first-round bull to have. And I was joking around, whenever you asked about that pick. I said,
I picked him. He's on my list right there.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that ain't going to happen. But I was just joking. When you got a guy like Ed Nye getting on a bull like that, because that bull is so good. He has such great timing. And, when you put a world champion on him and a guy that's going to the PBR finals this year, and he's a front runner on the Texas Rattlers team, the PBR team. I mean, he's been stacking points for them a bunch. And you match a guy like that up with a bull like that, I mean, it's almost inevitable. He's gonna ride that one. And
he's gonna ride it every time and make it look easy almost.
Yeah, and that was kind of the trouble with it, I thought, is he was 83 and that, it's a judged event, but he made that bull look almost a little too easy. I mean, that's how good he rides. I mean, he was just sitting there perfect. And so it kind of took a lot away from the bull whenever you ride that good.
True. And then we have the man, but leading by half a point. He's 83.5 points last night from Oregon, Dawson Branton. He's on the Oklahoma Freedom Team PBR team. The kid came out there and made a showing. He drew a great bull and did something with it.
Yeah, and he's never been here before. And, I just kind of been around him a little bit, talked to him a little bit. He is a really, really good guy, and he rides bulls really well. And, I think being on that PBR team, like I said last night, having Cody Lostro just giving some firsthand knowledge, it just has really upped his bull ride game. And, he rode that bull last night. He won the round, and he was kind of like, oh, man, I messed him up a little bit. I could have been a little better. And, the bull kind of had kind of bobbling just a little bit at the end. And when a guy's like that, it's not that they're hard on themselves. It's they're always looking to improve. And when a guy's like that, that's when you see him really, really, make it in this sport.
Right, and he's young. He's got a long career ahead of himself. And look at Ed Nye. He's been doing this for a long time. Ed Nye actually was winning a world championship before some of these riders were alive yet.
Yeah.
So kind of like Ed Nye, he's a world champ. Yeah, what year? I wasn't born until 2 years later, some of these kids.
Yeah.
It's entertaining, but it's also very it motivates these kids to try harder and see that there is an option.
Yeah, and it's good for them. And that's what this bull ride is all about. You got young guys here that are super talented, trying to make it to the next step. But then they get to ride against a world champion. And it really puts things in perspective. Before they really go hit the big road and, go out and try to make a living doing this thing, they get exposed to things that they're going to see in the big leagues right here. Tombstone, the bulls, you're riding against world champions here, and you're riding for a lot of money too.
Exactly. The money's the big thing, and you're under the lights. You've got a roaring crowd around you. They're cheering everybody on, and the town supports it. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But you talked about not only the young riders coming up, you've also got the young bulls. We saw a whole new, probably about a quarter of the pen of the bulls was all new, and they were electric last night. They were just absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah, and I don't know if people realize this or if they kind of keep track of the bulls, but you watch bulls on PBR on TV. There's a handful that made their start right here, as 2-year-olds. And, by the time they got 3-4 years old, they got to where it was time for them to go to the next level. And so when you turn on PBR on TV, our bull of the year last year, Big Whiskey, he was at Madison Square Garden. You know, they're hauling that bull a lot. And now you're seeing the next group of young bulls. And I thought that was a great showing for him last night. This is a bunch of 2-year-olds. But if you ride any of them, you could win the event on them. That's how good these bulls are. And that's how advanced this breeding in bucking bulls has got. I mean, it's insane.
It's a whole science in itself, and it's hard to keep up with. The bloodlines is like racehorses. Trying to keep up with that bloodline, the trace, the tracking, and who's related to who and what they did, and just betting on them and seeing them. But seeing the bulls raise up through here the last 3 years that I've been here and seeing where they've gone, they're on Madison Square Garden. That bull cut his teeth here in Tombstone.
Yeah.
That was a poster bull here for months.
Yeah.
That bull's feet were this high off the ground and kept doing it.
Yeah. And it's just such a cool thing that, you know, we're able to have this here in Tombstone. I mean, this is a PBR quality event, or, you know, professional quality event with professional bulls. And, you know, we got the greatest fans here, and they just love it. And we enjoy having them out here. And, you know, this thing has grown beyond what I ever imagined. And, you know, we owe a lot of people, you know, a lot of gratitude for it. The sponsors, we couldn't do it without it. The fans, we couldn't do it without them. And, you know, it was just an idea, you know, 3 short years ago. And the community, the town, the sponsors, the fans, they're the ones that got it to this level.
And speaking of towns, we do have the esteemed mayor of Tombstone with us tonight. Let's hear it for Dusty Escapol.
Thank
Give
you.
a big round of applause.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I tell you what, you guys talking about 3 years ago, I remember when Katie and Robbie come into my office and they said, we have an idea. We want to make a deal with this guy down here on this arena. And I said, you're going to do what? Well, we want to put on bull riding. You know, and I've seen quite a few of these things take place here. People try to make something happen. And, you know, and Katie and Robbie had such enthusiasm. I says, you know what? I know the guy that owns the property. I'll put in a good word for you, which I did. And any way I can help you, I will. And I tell you, it's paid off. This has been such an asset to Tombstone. The people are ecstatic about it. They can't quit talking about it. They can't wait till the next bull ride. And the people that it's drawing amazes me. You've got big time bull riders coming in. And there again, you're making some big name bulls for yourselves right out of Tombstone, Arizona. And that's really hard to believe. And it was because Katie and Robbie had the initiative and the drive to make this a success. And my hat's off to them. And I think the whole town appreciates everything they do. I know that you never hear a bad word about them or any other organization. That they are perfect. And welcome to Tombstone is all I can say.
We appreciate that. We sincerely appreciate you supporting this event because it takes a lot. It's not just sponsors. It's not just Robbie and Katie put it together. It's a community that puts it together. And this community has embraced this event. And it's kind of like rock star status. They kind of know who you are. Anywhere you go, people will stop being like, hey, you're the announcer, aren't you? Hey, that's one of the bull riders, and I get to hear it. I walk in shorts and T-shirts in town, and I hear them see the bull riders in front of me like, oh, that's one of the bull riders. We got to get our tickets. We get our tickets. And that is awesome when you hear an entire town that's excited for it. You go to the shops, you see people buying hats. You see people buying boots. It boosts the economy. It really lifts it up, and you see the excitement from the crowd while you're here. Now, you've been to several of our events. Did you come last night by chance?
No, I wasn't able to make it last night. I had to make the proclamation for the rodeo parade, or the Colorado parade, I should say.
Yes. Okay.
Tomorrow at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. And the proclamation is for the Grand Marshals. And the Grand Marshals are old. I'm sure there's probably some folks in here that was taught by these folks. They're retired school teachers, and they well deserve to be the Grand Marshals. And I actually have the horses up on the street, and I have a white Cherries that I totally went through just for the Great Marshals to ride in.
Really nice.
Their whole family, we can put 10 of them in here. So it's going to be great. Everybody needs to come out and watch the parade tomorrow, 11 o'clock. It's probably one of the oldest running parades other than Tucson in the state of Arizona. And 1929 was when Eldorado started. So, you know, we've been continuous, 93 years we've been doing this. So
That's amazing.
But
You said
the
it
best-
11 o'clock?
11 o'clock
11
tomorrow.
o'clock, okay.
Now, the best thing about it, in the first parts of the Tombstone Eldorado days, they did have some rodeos, but they couldn't continue to do it. And I'm so happy to see that Katie and Robbie are able to furnish some spirit of the original Eldorado days in Tombstone. It's really cool. It's nice.
That's awesome. Put it all together like the way it was.
Exactly.
All right, let's give our mayor a big round of applause. We're going to hand the microphone down one more time to our esteemed guest. He is running for the Secretary of State for the state of Arizona, your great state of Arizona. If you're from here, let's hear it from Mr. Mark Finchem.
Thank you very much.
We're so glad to have you here. They were telling me they're going, we're going to have a lot of political folks here. I was like, cool. I've never done that before, so we're going to have fun with it. Here we go.
Right?
So how has it been with your stay in Tombstone today? I saw you got here earlier. You got you staying at the Monument Ranch, one of our sponsors.
Yep.
How was the town?
No, the day here has been wonderful. We know that there's a lot of support for my campaign for Secretary of State here in Arizona, out of Tombstone. The fact is that the Secretary of State is the de facto lieutenant governor.
Yep.
So that means if Katie Hobbs gets defeated and we have Kerry Lake as governor, I'm number 2.
Awesome. That sounds like a great plan.
Well, when you talk to Mark Lamb and Sheriff Daniels, Mark Daniels, I've been on the border with security now for 6 years plus as a state legislator until just recently. Yeah, we put $500 million in this last budget into beefing up the border security strike force.
Wow, that's
That
amazing.
means
That
we're going
is
to be
so-
stopping dope. We're going to be stopping human traffickers. We're going to be pumping resources into an area that, frankly, the Biden administration has abandoned. And that's what you can count on from a guy like me, because I've been an ag guy. I'm 65 years old. In fact, I was driving a Farmall M when I was 8 raking hay. So that tells you about how long I've been around.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I just have received such a warm welcome from the folks here in Tombstone.
Tombstone.
In Tucson, I came from Tucson, so, but here in Tombstone, I mean, everybody walks up on the sidewalk, whether they live here or not, and they're so happy to see me and each other. I just see this community that I think this has brought to Tombstone, and I think that's really important.
It's very important. Family values is huge. You know, this is a family business. This is them. They put this together. They dreamed. They believe they achieved. We'll talk about it a little bit later. With where the dream began with his grandfather that got him started in the world of rodeo. And that's where I got my start in rodeo. My grandfather taking me to a bull riding, which was a bad idea. You know, my dad's just still upset about it.
Yeah, that's why I did Bronx instead of bulls. It's like
Yeah.
only dumb people ride on things that can kill them.
Well, it was worse for me because my family was all police officers and I went to be a firefighter. So
Well, I was both, so.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm the red sheep of the
Bad
family.
choices, right?
Yeah, my dad's like, you rode bulls, you didn't go to college, then you became a firefighter. Another police officer. It's like, what is wrong with you? Did I drop you?
No, you were built with a heart for service,
Exactly. But I told him, I said, yeah, but I just don't want to sit around, Dad. I want to do something.
right?
And in my interview, after my retirement, they told me, they go, I remember what you said. You don't need a gun to help people. That was the thing. Because my family, all they talked about was guns. And she was like, I can shoot a gun, no problem. But I was like, I want to help the community, but I prefer the firefighting. So,
Yeah, and that great big squirt gun you got,
yeah.
it's hard to replace.
And yeah, it's very, very hard to replace. But man, I'm sure I enjoy sleeping at night now. So we're
Yeah,
good.
those 24-hour shifts are gone.
48s is what we were on. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we thank you for coming out. We thank you for being a part of the state and driving the state to be better. You're a representative right now, so you're already in that political realm, have been for a long time, just as you have, Dusty. You help the community grow. There's always people out there that are, they want to gripe. But hey, my thing is go vote, folks. If you want to make change, go vote. That's what you need to do.
November 8th, go vote.
If you want to hear your voice heard, regardless of what you believe in, you do you and go vote, because that's what we ask you, to hear your voice. You can hear me all night long and I get tired of my own voice. Trust me. You need to go vote on November 8th. and make the change. Got it? November 8th. But now we're going to talk about our picks for tonight. So in my number 5 spot, I've got Wyatt Austin on a Wrangler National Finals rodeo bucking bull, Randy Boone of Washburn, the long-legged kid. This bull is going to fit this guy.
Yeah, and Wyatt's good. You know, Wyatt rides really, really good. He's just, you know, sometimes you just, things don't go your way. That's just the way this thing is. And as a bull rider, you know, you just got to have that attitude. Every day's a new day. You know, I made a terrible mistake last night. Andy Guzman had Justified last night. And I was like, well, that's the hardest part about him is he's the nicest bull in the pen and everybody rides him. And I stand out here, man, that bull bucked. That bull bucked hard with him last night, you know. And, you know, it's heartbreaking to be 7.83. Yeah, I mean, you're a blink away from the score. But, you know, still that had to feel good for him. You know, he looked good on him. He had everything going his way, but that bull bucked hard enough. He stubbed his toe and bucked him off. Sometimes you get bucked off. That's just the way it goes.
And the kid can ride. He's proven. He's on a full ride scholarship in college for his skill. There's no denying his ability.
Yeah, he's good.
So number 3, I've got the number 1 man in this series right now, Kalen Reynolds from Marana, Arizona. The bull you just talked about, Justified. This is going to be good watching.
Yeah, and I'm sure Kalen's seen that bull last night. So not that Kalen never has his hammer cocked. He has his hammer cocked every time he shows up. And I just, you know, if somebody wants to be a bull rider and aspire to be a bull rider, hang around Kalen Reynolds for a little while because that's the kind of attitude you got to have. I mean, he just loves it. He gets on.
He'll get on every bull here.
Yeah. We could put on a 30-man bull ride with just Kalen here, and he'll get on all of them, and he'll try to ride all of them.
And he'll try to ride every single one of them.
That kid has more heart. I mean, that one time he got on 6 here, I think he hung up to one. One got him down and hooked him like pretty bad. He had blood coming out of his mouth, and he's like, "What side's my other bull on?" I'm asking.
As he's walking out of the arena.
That kid's just tough. But,
built different.
Yeah, and this could be a go-round win tonight for Kalen.
And in my number 2 spot is Father Time himself, Ed Knight Caminas. He's got Crop Circle of Washburn. I want to see this bull get twisted.
Yeah.
And see what this bull's made of, because this bull's got a lot of talent.
Yeah. And this Ed Knight's got his work cut out for him tonight. This bull's no day off, and you know, he's no sleeper. This bull's gonna come out there and turn back and be really good. But, you know, a couple rounds into it, he's going to shoot ahead really hard and either go the other way or turn back again. So when them bulls do that, when they're spinning, you know, they feel really good and they got a lot of timing. But when they gather up and shoot ahead, I mean, it feels like everything just leaving you and going away from you. And that's really tough to get by. But Ed and I, being a world champion, I'm sure he's been on a bull like this at some point in his life.
At some point in time.
And it's rode him. So he's not going to get on anything that surprises him or anything that he's never seen before. But, you know, you just kind of got to be aware on this one that he's not going to stay hooked up right there.
And my top spot, I got Dawson Branton on Noise Complaint, a bushwhacker, bloodline bull. The kid from Oregon has got a lot of talent. Just watching him last night, watching some videos, doing my homework, this kid's going to make it look like a day off.
Yeah, when we were drawing bulls this afternoon, when we picked that one out, I mean, immediately I thought this is going to be good. You know, like I said, that Dawson, I never seen him before. He last night was his first night coming here, and he was pretty impressive. And that bull he's got tonight, you know, that bull, they used to ride him all the time, you know, because he was just pretty good, but he was young. The bull's really stepped it up, you know, and I talked to him today. I said, you know, he's, you know, a year ago, he was just kind of a spinner that everybody rode. I said, but he's grown up, put on probably 250 pounds, and, you know, he's kind of the real deal now. So he's got his work cut out for him with that one.
It will not be an easy day, but he needs to stay ahead of Ed Knight and take the win. Now, my assassin is the one that comes from behind. Nobody sees him coming. He's unassuming, but he's won this event before. It's the young high schooler, Avery Mullins, and he's drawn a bull I really want to see him ride, and that's Heat Seeker. This could be the ride of the night.
Yeah, and Avery's been just so impressive here lately. You know, if you get on Facebook or whatever on my Facebook, there's every weekend it seems like Avery's, you know, getting Bulls Road somewhere. He's either winning or he's placing. And, you know, just to put things in perspective for people, this is a high school kid. And, you know, a lot of this sport is mental. And when you're winning, you can't get too cocky or arrogant because Bulls don't care. They don't know who you are. They don't know if you're a world champion or it's your first time.
They can't read the buckle on your hip.
No, they don't. They could care less. They're going to try just as hard every time. And so,
or if you're standing on the fence over here, they don't care with a microphone in your hands.
Yeah,
they'll kill you just the same.
They don't care if you're James Orcasitas. They'll run over there and try to kill you. You know, it doesn't matter to them.
Happened twice last night.
But Avery's done a fantastic job, I think, just keeping his focus. He's riding really good right now, and he's just staying focused. And if one bucks him off, it doesn't bobble him. He comes right back. It's right back on that, you know, winning train and goes right back to riding bulls. And that's really impressive for a kid that's as young as he is. And riding the caliber of bulls he is. You know, it's awesome.
Well, now we got to ask Dusty. Dusty, did you compete in rodeo? What's your Western lifestyle? Best memory?
Well, I used to. I tried to bull one time, and I said, I'm going back to roping. That's a lot safer. Some of my boys in their younger years, they all just, you know, wanted to try the bull riding thing, and I supported them. One of my boys got on a bull, and the bull turned over on top of him in the chute, and got him up, and I said, all right, your next bull's in line. Get on. He said, no, I'm going to go bronc riding. That's it. I'm out of here.
That was a quick career.
Yeah.
All right.
But roping has pretty much the old man sport that I'm good at. You know what I mean?
As long as you can count to 10 at the end.
Exactly. Still got all the fingers. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it high. Keep it high.
Yeah, right.
And yourself, Mark? Your history in rodeo, ranching? You said driving tractors and farming.
Well, primarily raising beefs, team roping, and I tried my hand at broncs. That's why I have 2 replacement shoulders. And the surgeon said, "Okay, don't screw this up because I got nothing to work with beyond that." So
there's nothing left in there.
My days of that are done. Now I get to encourage, you know, the kids and just protect the lifestyle. You know, make sure that we respect the agricultural lifestyle. You know, there's a big assault going on right now against agribusiness, agriculture. The people that, for some reason, they think farting cows were a problem.
Yeah, I still cannot figure that one out.
Yeah, so, but no, those days are done, and now I'm perfectly happy to watch.
There we go. Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much for being here. We sincerely appreciate it. Folks, give them a round of applause one more time. Tell them thank you for coming out.